I'd like to share with you a poignant story. On April the 15th, a little over 100 years ago, on April the 15th, 1912, the greatest ship ever constructed to date sank in the North Atlantic. It was the HMS Titanic. It was coming on its virgin voyage to America. It had men and women of great distinction as well as common people on board, and it sank with 1,200 souls lost. Now, following the sinking of the Titanic, there were two primary investigations on both sides of the Atlantic, and they both found fault with a number of things, but pivotal to both was a key that was lost. And here's how that key happened. There was the first officer of the Titanic. His name was William Blair. And he was on board the Titanic when it went from where it was built to Southampton, where it was about to depart for the United States. And because of seniority, he was bumped from the maiden voyage and sent home. So Mr. Blair went home and sat around, and the person that replaced him was a Frederick Fleet. Now, they were sailing across the Atlantic, and they always had somebody up in the bird's nest looking out for objects in the water, especially in the North Atlantic, icebergs. The problem is, Mr. Fleet did not have binoculars, which were standard on the ship. Well, as the inquisitions and investigations showed, when Mr. Blair was bumped off the ship, he went home, took his coat off, put it up, and in his White Star was the name of the ship line, and his White Star jacket was the key to the safe in which the binoculars for the lookout post were contained. So Mr. Blair had the key at home, and Mr. Fleet on the fateful night in the North Atlantic did not have access to the binoculars that might have allowed him to see the iceberg before the ship was upon it and taking the ship down. So a remarkable thing. In fact, just a few years ago, that key was auctioned off in England, and I think it sold for the equivalent of $100,000. But think of the importance of that key on the night of that fate for the ship. Had they had the binoculars to see and understand the iceberg coming their way, might they have been saved? Folks, you and I are given keys. Keys to see if we will utilize the keys, to take the tools given to us to look for the obstacles in life and try to find ways to maneuver around the obstacles and have a smooth journey towards our destination. We are all in relationships, and these relationships are what carry us through life. And the relationships with each other, those intimate, those less intimate, the relationships with all people, caring for all people, the relationship to a mightier source than us, Almighty God, our relationships of life carry us through life. And if we have the wisdom to look and understand how to love appropriately, we will find life's voyage much more productive, much more happy, much more rewarding for ourselves and for all people.